Since the very beginning of human intelligence, people have viewed themselves with a sense of wonder. Why do we behave as we do? Why can we justify some of our actions and not others? Why do we have emotions and where do they originate from? How and why do we know what we know? Looking back, we may be surprised at the similarity of the questions that human beings have asked about themselves. And at the human mind is this impossibly complex machine, ever working and never ceasing. Even today, with boundless advances in scientific understanding, we are almost no closer to understand the biggest mystery of them all, the human mind and its working. Psychology is the field that scientifically studies the human mind and its functions. But how did this field come to be? To answer this, we must look at the beginning of scientific thought itself. Our journey begins in ancient Greece. Here we see the first account of detailed recorded hypotheses about the causes of human activity. A number of prominent thinkers and philosophers emerged. The Greek era is often viewed as a transition from the theological way of thinking, attributing causes from divinity to a more rational view. Prominent thinkers such as Plato, Aristotle, and Socrates laid the foundation of scientific thinking for centuries to come. Even today, we look back to their teachings. We saw the emergence of the concept of soul. It became the seat of human will and intelligence, our understanding of our own consciousness and the element of life. We also see the advent in the importance given to knowledge. The systematic acquisition of knowledge became a central aim, and as a result, we see the development of scientific methodology. Hence, by the end of Greek era, the issues and themes of modern psychology as well as its methodology was well defined and structured. For the most part, Roman culture adopted the Greek orientation of philosophies, yet they did develop their own perspectives. They focus more on the practical application of pre-existing knowledge as opposed to the development of new knowledge. For the field of psychology, this meant stagnation, as the people's interest in understanding the workings of the mind declined and their interest in how they could develop their society heightened. This period was marked by the rapid and widespread advent of the religion of Christianity.
The theology of religion had its basis in Greek philosophy. However, this marked a partial return to the theological way of thought. Focus shifted from reason and scientific thought to blind faith. The institution of the church and the papacy imposed the Inquisition, further propagating this, marking one of the most dark ages in European thought and knowledge. In 410, the Roman Empire fell. Rome was sacked. This was due to a series of barbaric attacks and threats. The repeated invasions took their toll, and the already declining Roman Empire by then ceased altogether. The empire split up. The seat of power moved to Constantinople, and Byzantine Empire emerged in the west. The Roman emperor adopted Christianity as a religion, further propagating its spread. With the fall of a Roman Empire, intellectual awakening in the West came to a virtual standstill. The Dark Ages in the tale of European quest for knowledge had begun. The papacy emerged as the main source of power, surpassing even the authority of the emperor. The increasing role of the papacy, not only in spiritual direction but also in civic administration, led to the accumulation of the Crusades. All this while, Islam had been developing in another corner of the world. The Middle East had become an important knowledge center, acting as a conduit for knowledge between Europe and Asia. Crusades led to a cultural interaction, creating an exposure to the culture of Islam, which united the interest in ancient literature and masterpieces. And an intellectual awakening in Asia. Crusades led to a cultural interaction, creating an exposure to the culture of Islam. From 1080 to 1580, we see the consolidation and then the factionalism of Christianity and by extension of the power center of the papacy. Intellectually, there was renewed interest in ancient Greek thought. The emphasis now lay on renewed interest in ancient Greek thought. The emphasis lay on rational thought to secure human knowledge. The church attempted to oppress this intellectual movement with the Inquisition, but was bypassed by concepts like that of scholasticism and reconciled faith and reason. Culturally, the Italian Renaissance led to immense shift in interest. Humanistic thought glorified humanity as something that was defined in itself. In conclusion, why do we behave as we do? Why can we justify some of our actions and not others? Where do our emotions originate from? These are questions we still ask ourselves today, but now we can say that they fall within defined purview of the subject of psychology. Our questions have not changed through the ages, however, how we approach them has. Centuries of development have led us to an age where we place scientific approach above all else. No longer do we allow faith or bias to distract us from quest to attain knowledge. The human race is finally one united global civilization, seeing prosperity and stability like never before. We now live in the information age where knowledge is all important, and while we have made remarkable progress in understanding it, the human mind still remains a mystery at large. Mankind now pursues to understand itself with an unquenchable thirst, and hence we see the subject of psychology as it is today.